Well, the storm and flooding also turned roads into rivers. A big stretch of a major freeway, the Don Valley Parkway, or DVP, was forced to shut down, disrupting travel for many people in the city. Dale Manukduk shows us what it was like.
The Travis Toronto Fire has been busy today. Earlier in the storm, they rescued 2 people along the Don Valley Parkway near Bayview Avenue. There were 2 people. One was trapped inside their car, one was stuck on top of their car. And later in the afternoon, they rescued an additional 12 people. Those are the cars you see here now on the Don Valley Parkway.
I've never seen it this bad since in the years that I've been living down here.
Just climbed in, you can see I'm soaking wet. I climbed in and it's flooded with water, so it's not safe to try and drive it right now. So I'm just going to try and wait it out and hope for the best.
Now, Mayor Olivia Chow, she was questioned why the Don Valley Parkway wasn't shut down earlier in the day. Here's what she had to say.
I was assured that the emergency service and the management team have been activated early today, this morning, and we know the rain, we can tell it's coming. Maybe the severity of it caught people by surprise, I don't know, but it certainly caught other people by surprise. I had staff that had to go home because the houses are flooding, the ceiling are leaking. So I don't know why DVP wasn't closed. There are some sections that are flooding, and they have closed different lanes when it's necessary.
Now, the water has subsided some on the Don Valley Parkway. Mayor Olivia Chow says once it reduces even more, that city crews will spend 3 to 4 hours cleaning up. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Dale. Dale Manukduk in Toronto. All right, CBC's Greg Ross is in downtown Toronto. Now, Greg, the situation has improved significantly since the downpour earlier this afternoon. What's the situation like right now where you are?
Well, Travis, in this part of King Street West in downtown Toronto, it's hard to tell right now that there was any problem here today, but it was a disaster here earlier this morning when those rains started coming down. I should tell you that this is a part of King Street that has been closed down because they're replacing the streetcar tracks here. But take a look at what this street looked like when those rains started coming down this morning. It was more like a river going under this train overpass here on King Street. We've got raised sidewalks on either side of the road here, and that water got so high it came up over the sidewalks, and we had people that were trying to walk under this bridge, but obviously stopped by the fact that there was a foot of water in front of them. We had some couriers, some delivery drivers on bike that were trying to get through. Some of them braved it. One of them I saw on an electric bike. He tried to go through. His bike got bogged down towards the end, actually. So it was pretty bad here. The water levels were very high. It was this dark brown, murky water. Obviously, dangerous situation here for people trying to walk through that. It was pouring down for quite some time, and then after a little while the rain stopped and that water just drained so quickly. We're not sure why it accumulated here. I haven't seen a problem like this before, but because of this construction, you have to wonder if that has impacted the storm drains in this area, and maybe something the city is going to want to have to take a look at.
Absolutely. There are a lot of questions after today, Greg. And, you know, the area where you are is a very busy part of downtown Toronto. How are businesses in that area being affected?
Well, we had the power outage here. There were nearly 200,000 people in the city that lost power, and all of this dense area called Liberty Village here in downtown Toronto lost power. So there were a number of businesses just over here that not only did they lose their power, at the same time their basements started flooding because they're right beside this flood zone where all this water started coming down. I talked to one of the business owners there, actually took me down into the basement there to show me that they had quite a bit of water that had accumulated in their basement. It damaged a lot of the product that they had stored down there. Who knows what other kind of damages that would have been caused by that flooding, something they're obviously going to have to look into. But those businesses were also closed for a couple of hours today because of the fact that they had no power. So lots of lost businesses. We were talking to people that were just walking out, around noon today when these water levels were still very high, and people were going to get lunch, but they couldn't because everything was closed down because there was no power. Obviously, there was a lot of damage because of the water levels, but again, it cleared out very quickly. And here, there hasn't been any problems here since, but again, just a very dangerous situation and something the city is going to have to take a closer look at.
Absolutely. CBC's Greg Ross in downtown Toronto for us. Thanks, Greg. Well, the rainfall also caused major headaches for commuters in the Greater Toronto area, including in Brampton, where a major highway intersection was shut down. Let's go now to Constable Scott Stratton with the OPP Highway Safety Division, who is on the scene right now. Constable, thanks for being here on Canada Tonight. You are at the intersection of the 410 and 401. For folks across the country, that is a major intersection, and it's been flooded. Describe the scene where you are right now.
So actually the water has receded along the highway, but earlier today there was so much water that it was up to the sides of the doors for vehicles. One of the officers I was talking to on scene, it was up to his knees at one point, and it was even deeper where some of the vehicles had driven in. But it's now receded. We're hoping that shortly, I'm just waiting for word, that the southbound lanes of the 410 should be open momentarily. The northbound lanes, though, they're covered in mud and debris. They're going to be a lot longer cleaning that up.
Okay, so it's been a few hours now since the flood, and we're at the tail end of rush hour. How have things been going just in general in that area?
Well, not really well, because that is a major north-south thoroughfare in the area of Toronto and Brampton. So all the auxiliary routes that run north and south beside it, there's a lot of people trying to use that highway or use those roads, or those arterial roads. And unfortunately, like that north road, those northbound lanes are going to be closed for a while longer.
Yeah. You know, we've been talking about the situation here in downtown Toronto, looking at some of the, incredible pictures. But talk to me a little bit about the Greater Toronto area and what your officers have been witnessing and encountering throughout the day.
Well, just like downtown Toronto, we got a ton of rain in a short period of time. And what happened was a lot of our ramps, the water came down so quickly that there wasn't, the culverts and the sewage system wasn't able to take the water on. So we started getting flooding in some localized areas, and mostly on our ramps and then on the 410.
So now that the rain has stopped, what is the major concern at this hour for you and for the OPP?
Well, it's the cleanup now of all the debris, the mud. An example was, as I was at the 410, there was giant chunks of grass that were still attached to chunks of mud on the highway.
Wow.
Like, we're talking 10 feet by 5 feet, and the grass you would normally see about 4 feet high. It was sitting in these giant chunks that the water had just picked it up and dropped it right in the middle of the highway.
Pretty incredible. Do you have any idea in terms of how many calls you have received today for help?
I actually don't have that information for you, but I'm going to guess it was a lot, because as I was listening to the radio through the course of the day, it just didn't stop. It was just a constant stream of calls for service by our officers, and our officers were attending them one at a time, trying to triage them to the more important ones, and trying to help as many people as they could, as the rain, it just came down so quickly.
So what is the best advice that you have for motorists tonight and into tomorrow morning, in terms of getting around safely?
Just slow down and to pack your patience with you. There isn't, we want to make sure people get to where they want to go safely. Our number one priority is public safety. And we want to make sure our road users are using the highways safely and getting where they need to go in the amount of time that it should. But you're going to have to pack your patience, because the roads are busy. All the arterial roads are busy. There's still a few closures here and there. All our ramps are open now, as far as I'm aware. The only closure we have is still on the 410.
Yeah, and we want everyone to stay safe out there, and you included. Constable, appreciate your time tonight. That is Constable Scott Stratton with the OPP Highway Safety Division.